Welcome back to this special edition of Bloomberg Daybreak. U.S. markets are closed for the Juneteenth holiday. I'm Nathan Hager. Thanks for joining us. We want to turn our attention now to the health of the country's retailers. And for that, we have a special holiday roundtable for you. Joining us now, Burt Flickinger, Managing Director at Strategic Resource Group, along with Poonam Goyal, Senior U.S. Retail Analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence. It's great to have the both of you with us on this holiday. And we're doing this as we come off the latest read on retail sales. We are still seeing signs of slowdown in the American consumer. Burt, I'll start with you. What does this slowdown mean in terms of where we could go for the rest of the summer?
Nathan, as you referenced, the monthly retail sales reported on the Bloomberg terminal yesterday, Tuesday, it's Dickens-esque. It's the worst of times for retailers. It's the best of times. It's the best of times for retailers like Kroger and Costco. Costco hit a 52-week high. Kroger's doing a very constructive, well-intentioned merger with Albertsons to lower prices to consumers even more as consumers are fighting record inflation, which you're seeing in the rest of retail, Nathan, that the only other elements other than food retail that are doing well are off-price, led by TJX and other off-price, with a handful of specialty retailers also putting together strong results too.
Speaking of specialty retailers, Poonam, I know you cover those, particularly in the specialty apparel space. Is it a best of times, worst of times situation in your world as well?
Well, I think there's a confluence of events that are happening. So you do have a weaker consumer that's spending less on discretionary, but at the same time, you have this fashion cycle where consumers are out and about more, so they are spending a little more in apparel. They're just deciding where to go. So we think in this case, the retailers that are benefiting with a play on value are some of the ones that we've seen rise very fast. Those, Chinese based or originated retailers, whether it's Shein or Temu, they're starting to take share. And then the Walmarts of the world, we've seen that they've posted strong results and they continue to make their play for value drive consumer interest, whether it's the high end now or even, continuing to keep the mid and low tier consumer.
Well, if we do, Burt, continue to see pile into sort of lower priced retail names and sectors, what could that mean for some of the higher price point companies? Are they going to have to start bringing in sales this summer?
Yes, the higher price companies will have to bring in sales, and it's going to be tough in a presidential year with record ad spending and costs to bring in that consumer. And also what's interesting is in our Strategic Resource Group analyses, chain drug, which is normally a safe harbor and typically good in affordability, is struggling. Walgreens down 75% in 5 years, Rite Aid down 99.7%, CVS down 15%. Walmart wins, as Poonam said, and you said, Nathan, and Kroger, Albertsons with over 4,000 pharmacies win, and consumers win. But unless it's everyday low price or price impact, like Costco, like Winco, like TJX, Ross, Dress for Less, et cetera, promotional will still be a big part of the playbook for Macy's and others, but it'll be tougher to track customers, as Poonam referenced. The shoppers are spending for want, not for need.
So in terms of the retail names that you cover, Poonam, how could that play out for names like some of those apparel companies that you look at? Are they going to start discounting as well?
So that they will start discounting. I mean, discounts will definitely come into play. And sometimes it's not a function of the inventory that they have at hand, but it's the neighbors, right? So if the stores around you are discounting, you need to show the value proposition too. But there is a group that I cover that I think benefits in this environment, and that's the resale companies like Rent the Runway, like ThredUp, Poshmark. These companies have a resale element to them, and eBay, and they drive the value message across pretty nicely. So we think that they're going to benefit in all of this.
And Burt, what about the interplay between brick and mortar stores and e-commerce? How do you see that playing out into the summertime?
We're seeing internet sales trailing 12-month growth rate below 7% for a long time. So still strong, still stronger than the rest of retail. But people are going to bricks and mortar because, as Poonam said, they're going to Walmart, they're going to Target, they're going to Costco, Aldi, and Kroger, and they want to see the produce and see the meat, especially with meat prices soaring because of avian bird flu affecting first the poultry flocks, but now transferring over to livestock. So egg prices, especially for meat, pork, poultry, are the highest in years, with poultry still a value, but maybe not for long.
Of course, a lot of those names that Burt just referenced have some e-commerce business of their own, Poonam. Do you see any interplay there, some divergence between foot traffic and clicks?
Yeah, look, I think, for grocery, it's still a largely brick and mortar business. So I think consumers will prefer that channel for the foreseeable future as the way they shop for their produce, especially. But when you talk about the off-price retailers that were just mentioned, they don't have a clicks business. TJX is a very small online presence. So for those stores, if you want the value, you have to go into them. But on the same front, retailers like Amazon, which, you're shopping online, the reason to go to Amazon is because you can get the breadth of offering and you can get the convenience and the items same day, next day. So I think that's still a medium that people will want to shop at because they want their things quickly. And some people still don't like going to stores for some of the stuff that can be replenished automatically and they don't need to feel in touch.
Speaking with Poonam Goyal, Senior U.S. Retail Analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence, along with Burt Flickinger, the Managing Director of Strategic Resource Group. Burt, I know something you follow in particular is the impact of movie attendance on brick-and-mortar mall traffic. It seems like it's been kind of hit or miss. I mean, we just had a record weekend for the new Pixar sequel. Some other movies haven't done as well. What could this mean for malls in terms of, this cinema traffic that in a lot of ways they've had to come to rely on in recent years?
Nathan, you synthesized it very well, hit or miss, with fewer theatrical releases as a carryover from the understandable artists and writers strike. So fewer properties from Disney, Marvel, et cetera, from the major studios. So new releases don't come to the rescue, Nathan, until after the December holidays. In the meantime, to your point, customer counts are down 30%, and a lot of to the movies at the malls. And a lot of those customers cross over and shop after they go to the movies, especially families with large presence of children or caregivers going with children. So at a time that the malls are suffering and Walmart's abandoning tens of millions of square feet of real estate that reached their planned obsolescence, some of the co-anchors are either going bankrupt or they're just segueing out, as Walmart and Amazon do. And so it's a very concerning crossroads for retail this summer, especially with the movie drop-off for the first time in a decade.
Curious to get your view on the mall outlook as well, Poonam. I know you spent a fair amount of time in the outlets as well.
Yeah, I think, look, mall traffic has been challenged for over a decade now, and I don't see that changing regardless of where we go in the future. I see that there is a shift more growing to digital, which is going to continue to really deter, especially the lower quality malls, right? I think the A malls, like the Short Hills Mall in New Jersey, they'll have traffic. But when you go to some of these other malls, when they lose the anchors, as Burt just said, the traffic really falls off. And that's going to continue to hurt the mall cycle and the stores within those malls.
Anything else besides movie theaters that can keep the mall business going, Burt?
BJ's and Costco are constructively converting former Macy's, former Sears, former J.C. Penney's to wholesale clubs, as is Winco and Aesop, which is the highest volume food retailer in America and also the lowest price, even lower than Walmart. So there is repurposing of the space. But to Poonam's present point, we're seeing America go from 400% overstored a decade ago in terms of retail mall space to between 120 to 130% overstored, which will be back in balance probably a few to no more than 5 years from now. And there's going to be quite a commercial, quote unquote, casualty count with even viable chains closing brick and mortar flagship stores and undercapitalized chains going out of business.
We're also going to see America go to Paris in the next few weeks for the Summer Olympics, just to think about summer in general, Poonam. In your world, when it comes to apparel sales, could we see something of a Team USA gear bump?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, these sporting events are back in full motion to how they were pre-pandemic. It's the first year, we're really back the way we used to watch sports and attend sporting events. We not only have the Paris Olympics, but we also have the Euro Championships going on. And there's a lot of momentum, and there are new launches, whether it's by Nike, Adidas, Puma, or the other names, that are going to drive brand heat. And the teams that win and the endorsers behind them are going to gain momentum. And that momentum really lasts, right? It's brand heat that's driven today that will continue for the next 6-12 months because those product launches carry on their momentum.
What do you see as a potential bigger catalyst this summer in terms of retail shopping, Burt? Is it the summer sports, or could it be back to school later on this summer?
It's a combination of the two, Nathan, and also the wild card is our family used to be one of the largest restaurant suppliers, everything from fast food to fine dining, and we know the math of McDonald's and BK and everybody else. They've raised prices 30% over the last 2.5 years. So we're seeing menu inflation in fast food, which means the customer that 10 years ago ate 11 meals a week away from home and only 10 at home, that customer is now eating about 20 meals a week at home. So they're shifting their spending from fast food and casual dining to in-home, where the basic markup for McDonald's on food is about 700 to 900%, over 1,000% on beverages. So for the Bloomberg terminal math and for the consumer at home, you could feed each person in the family for $1 or $2 a meal for something you're going to be paying $100 to $65 a meal for a family of 5 going through the fast food window. So I think to the key reference points you made, back to school or BTS and sports, and the first major transformational shift from food away from home to food at home for the first time in nearly 40 years.
Speaks to all the challenges to come for the consumer, as we've been seeing just in the data this week. Thank you, Burt. Thank you, Poonam, for all of this. That's Burt Flickinger, Strategic Resource Group, and Poonam Goyal, Senior U.S. Retail Analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence.